on this letter, this open letter by the Afrikaans community. Just take us through exactly what the points were.
Yes, thank you for having me. And as you've mentioned, this group of prominent Afrikaners includes writers, academics, and business leaders. They publicly pushed back against what President Donald Trump claims of so-called white genocide in South Africa. So this group issued an open letter, which is called Not in Our Name, rejecting Trump's repeated allegations. And the letter was also sent to the U.S. senators, some U.S. senators, to counter what they say is misinformation. So when we briefly look at the open letter, it responds directly to Trump's refugee policy, wanting to prioritize white Afrikaners seeking asylum. Now, in the letter, the authors state that white Afrikaners are not under existential threat, and that by portraying them as victims of racial persecution, not only distorts reality, but also damages relationships built over 30 years since the end of apartheid. They also argue that to elevate white suffering above others reinforces a racialized worldview. And the letter's publication exposed a deep internal divisions within the Afrikaner community in itself, between the left-leaning commentators who have welcomed it, but also the right-leaning groups, particularly AfriForum and Solidarity, who have criticized it strongly, saying that the authors, many of whom are academics, are out of touch with the lived experience of South Africans.
Peace in Pan-Africanism to all my African brothers and sisters from all around the world. Welcome back to King Seso. I'm your host, Kagiso Hlongwane, host is in Jevasono, and we're back at it again with another one. There is some good news that is coming from the Afrikaner community. There is a group of Afrikaner people, more than 1,000 signatures, that has written a letter to the US and have said, not in our name. They said, stop persecuting South Africa in the name of Afrikaners. Leave us alone, not in our name. And I saw this interview and I was like, this. You know, we've always complained that Afrikaners never stand up against false information and against racism in a group. They never do it in a group. There might be one Afrikaner individual or whatever, but it's never in a group where you see a group of Afrikaner people saying, yes, you know what, we benefited during apartheid and we understand why African people are angry at us because of what we did to them, what our ancestors did to them, and on this white privilege that we continue to carry because of the sins of apartheid. You've solemnly seen them in a group saying that. Like I said, you find individuals here and there, but never a group. So what happened here is that this group wrote to the senators of the US, have said, listen, you guys, stop this thing. Stop using this word genocide. There is no genocide in South Africa, and we just want to make that clear. So I like what is happening there, and I wanted to report for you guys because I don't know if it's reported on mainstream because I don't have TV, so I don't know what is going on there. What I see, I live online, so what I see is what is online here. So I think this is French TV or something like that. So I want us to continue to listen to what they are saying there. Let's just continue listening here.
Diametrically opposed sides of the same coin here. Pete, I'm going to start with you. What made you feel so strongly to initiate this letter and to bring the signatories forward?
Look, I don't have to convince you that we had a atrocious past of racial divisions, racism, institutionalized racism, formalized racism, constitutionalized racism, and to some extent the Liberal Democratic Constitution of 1994 to 1996 liberated us from being the perpetrators of this racist in this racist regime. And since then, it is 10 years, but a very difficult process to build relationships of trust. And I think we've made significant progress in that regard. So when Donald Trump, and I think it's our argument was that it's part of the Trump regime, the Trump administration, the way that they portray or the way that they understand their own race relationships in America, that they seek to in some other way export that by latching onto Afrikaners in South Africa, and in the process tainting the character of Afrikaners who wish to stay in South Africa, who have decent and qualified relationships with black South Africans and see themselves as Africans primarily, see themselves as South Africans. And we thought that we can't afford that our presence here in South Africa and in Africa are being used or is being used by the Trump regime to, in some other way, justify his own racial agenda in America, and leaves us as sort of a victim, as if he's prostituting Afrikaners to a certain degree for his own political ends. And we felt that there are enough. In fact, there are a large number of so-called right-wing voices in South Africa that has to be countered. We have to set the record straight that we don't all think like that, and that there is no evidence that that there's a racial genocide in South Africa, and that's the word that Trump has used. And that there's no, our future in this country is not being threatened by the fact that we are white and that the majority of this country, the people, are black.
Look, we as Africans don't need these Afrikaners to come to our rescue in anything. You understand? We don't need to, and they don't need to get out of their comfort zone, their area of privilege, to come and say things like this. Afrikaners are hated to the core when they come out and speak the truth that Kuronkamp is saying. It's very, I'm not even going to give you guys what Ernest Root said. It's a waste of space, that one. It's a waste of space. He must pack his bag, him and his family. They must go to America and be safe there, because clearly they are the type of people that are pushing this propaganda that Afrikaners or farmers are being killed because they are white, and there's a political mandate of these criminals. Imagine a criminal that's operating under a political mandate to go and kill farmers. It's crazy. There is a problem in the farms and whatever, but farm murders form less than 1% of the murders in South Africa. Less than 1%. Come on, people. Come on. Let's stop this thing. So we are happy when we see some Afrikaners coming up and talking. Let's just listen to the last clip of what they were saying here.
I don't think any of us claim to represent Afrikaner society, but maybe I just should put one thing straight. AfriForum themselves deny Donald Trump's argument that there is white genocide in South Africa. So if Donald Trump's information was as credible as Ernst Root seems to imply, he would not have disagreed with AfriForum, who says there is no white genocide in South Africa. So clearly Donald Trump is wrong in terms of what everybody else, me, us, as well as AfriForum, saying the right-wing groups in South Africa are saying. So his information can't be that credible in the first place. The second place is the argument that we are isolated and we are uninformed. Less than 1% of the more than 1,000 people that signed the letter are academics and people of media. It's not true. I myself have made 2 series of 26 documentaries on agriculture in South Africa, the farming community, which is the main concern of Roots. I have farmed myself for 14 years. Max de Pre, the other signatory, which originated the letter, he himself farmed for more than 10 years in South Africa. So we're not in some other way isolated from the realities of South Africa. And I have written extensively on crime in South Africa. I've done extensive research on violence in South Africa. We are well-informed people. We're not idiots. We're not left-wing. I think you initially said we are left-wing. There's no evidence that we are left-wing. In fact, we're pragmatists, we're constitutionalists, we're people who believe in a democracy. We're not left-wing in any way. We're not any ideology. So I think Ernst got his facts wrong, and he persists with that. By the way, Ernst has deep roots in Urania. Urania, and his past are rooted in Urania. Urania is a white enclave which seeks for a self-proclamation of their identity in a very specific area, the Afrikaners and the whites. That is somebody with an agenda. So if I can return to the idea of Donald Trump, of course Trump doesn't know what's going on in South Africa because he gets his facts wrong. And even the people who disagree with us about this letter will agree with us that he is wrong on that fact that there is no genocide, white genocide in South Africa. It seems like it's only roots. Maybe we should ask Aaron Roots, does he think that there is a white genocide in South Africa? And if he says yes, then he disagrees with everybody else in South Africa because there's nobody that will agree with him on that.
It's funny how the solidarity and AfriForum, Nabo Roots, the people who went and cried at America that the farmers are being killed at crazy amounts, crazy numbers and everything. When they come back to South African media and when they do other media interviews, they openly say, but there's no genocide. But Afrikaners are being killed. There are 140 race laws, blah, 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 blah. And Roots was founded in this interview, found wanting, not knowing what to say. Pure rubbish that he's talking there. To say, no, Donald Trump is free to use the word genocide. It's just semantic. It's just things that he uses words like that. But yes, we agree there's no genocide. But let's not try to ignore that farmers are being killed. My brother, everyone is being killed. Everyone is being killed in South Africa. Everyone. No one is special here. Whether you are an Indian or you are a Nigerian or you are a Zulu speaking person, an Afrikaans speaking person, you are a Tswana somewhere in the Northern Cape, you are a woman or you are a child, it's even worse. But nothing can deny the fact that when we talk about average and percentage, that black people are the ones that are mostly affected by the crime. It's uncomparable. You are at a safe zone when you are a farmer in South Africa compared to someone that stays in a suburb, in a township, in a village. You are safer in a farm as a white person. You probably even have a firearm. You probably have cameras. You probably have big dogs. You are so safe there than Antonio. Not to say people can't get you there. They can, and they do. But you are safer in a farm as a farmer than staying somewhere as an African in the all other areas I've mentioned. Hi. Okay, so I wanted to read the letter to you guys, but it doesn't matter. The letter is saying there is no genocide that is happening in South Africa, and it's a group of African people, professionals, academics, that have came out with farmers. Some of them are farmers that have signed that thing. America will ignore that. Of course they will. All we are praying for as black South Africans is all these people who are so racist, let them get on the plane and go. And what we wish actually is that when they get to America, they must not suffer. Hey, they must succeed. They must blossom. They must call the others and say, hey, racist, come this side. It's nice this side. We are living nice. And they must go, all of them. We don't want them to suffer that side and come back with bitterness here in Africa. We don't want them. We want them to do good there, to multiply. In fact, if they can give them their own Orania there, because Afrikaners will always want their own space. If they can get their own Orania and they do their nice thing there, they get their own flag, they get their own currency, whatever, that will be better for us. Tina, we have lived with these people long enough. We don't want them anymore. Go on the comment section and tell your boy King what do you think about today's episode. Thank you so much, guys, for clicking the subscribe button, clicking the like button. Let us meet on the next one. Until we meet again, don't forget to pray. But after you pray, stand up, African child. Do your best so that God can do the rest. Peace and Pan-Africanism. I salute you.